It's the DU General, Money P. I'ma put you up on the schedule. 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not doing several. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is called First Things First, and my first thing, giving thanks to God, giving praises and asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and let's go. Man, we got a lot going on and a lot to talk about. We're here for you, and we appreciate you being here for us. So the way we do the show on a Thursday, it is Thursday. It's Friday Eve. The way we do it on a Thursday, hour one, we look local, what's going on the left coast side of town, the Cali side of town, Pacific Ocean, and you're invited in every hour at 800-920-1580. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And today, Pastor Q, Stephen Jamawi, will be with us. He's the pastor of the Church Without Walls, the Row, and you're still invited in. He's going to help us figure out what's happening on the national scene after the big, not so beautiful bill, the budget bill of the Trump administration has passed out of the House in the middle of the night, creeping in like a crime that it actually is. And then hour three, we do a deep dive with a person or persons of interest on a hot topic. Today is both. We'll be talking with Sean Swoops, who's got a lot of knowledge and information about hip hop and the nightlife. So we're going to focus on that. And that is going to be a fun conversation. Looking forward to it. Okay, so you're always part of this. I hope you are. 800-920-1580. But that's not the only way in. You can also come in via social media, which is KBLA 1580. It's like black without the C and the K. KBLA 1580. That'll get you to our Instagram, our Snapchat, our YouTube, our TikTok. And please subscribe and follow and like or dislike, whatever your thing is. And then I'm there too at diprimaradio, DIPRIMA, and then radio. I know y'all like to call me Dupree and all kinds of other things, and that's fine. Just don't call me late for dinner. But when it comes to social media, you got to spell it right or you won't find me. diprimaradio, DIPRIMA, and then radio. Like, subscribe, follow. I have a YouTube channel. I'm even putting things on it now. Wow. Big innovation. And you can find Miles at Miles Low Music or at even.biz and go buy that. Imagine that. The new album. Imagine that. Go get it. Imagine that. Yeah. Imagine that. I love the cover. Yeah, it's really cute. Good job, Miles. All right. So right now it's me, you, the microphone, megaphone, whatever you got going, your tinfoil hat, whatever you got going on. 800-920-1580. I would love to hear from you. Man, just when we thought our country could not get more troubled, it does. But anyway, I never want to be on doom and gloom page because I really do believe that we win. The saying is when we fight, we win. And I believe that is true. But it's also true that when we pray, we win. When we organize, we win. When we fellowship, we win. When we practice self-care, we win. so many ways to win, right? And I think when we do a combination of all of those, we elevate. This is not just about winning. The problem with orienting everything towards winning is that you focus on stomping everyone else out, and we forget about elevating, which I believe is our purpose. At least it's mine. I think it's our human purpose. Or what is it? What is that saying? We're spiritual beings having a human experience. That experience is meant to elevate ourselves and others. So if it's all about the money, or it's all about the fight, or it's all about the win, then we forget about the process. Process is everything. Why am I lecturing? I don't know. I'm talking to myself. And the reason for that is because I feel a responsibility when I get on this mic to not be just like everybody else, pimping for clicks, hustling for likes, looking for drama. I feel like we are at our best when we elevate each other, when we fortify one another, when we encourage ourselves and our community, even while we're looking at the objective conditions of what's actually going on. I've been accused in the past of having rose-colored glasses, and I actually take that as a compliment, because if I have rose-colored glasses, it's a product of meditation, and it's a product of going in and seeing the great things that are happening in my community that defy what's going on the national scene. It's a product of curating the things I put in my mouth, in my brain, and in my spirit. And I'm so thankful that you're doing the same. I assume that you are. If you're up at this hour, tuned into KBLA, then I think you have a commitment to progress, a commitment to elevation, a commitment to whatever the opposite is of despair. I want to go right to Carl calling from Los Angeles. Buenos dias, Jumbo Hotep. What's up?
Hey, what's going on with you, Dominique? How you doing?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm great. I'll go right into it. Hey, you know that bill that that 47 got passed overnight that you was talking about? It's got a lot of money in there for federal government. You know, all these governors.
I don't usually remember the numbers of bills for some reason. I'm not necessarily good at that. What are you talking about? Are you talking about Trump's budget bill?
No, 47, Donald Trump. The little bit of bill that he passed over the week last night. You know, some of these governors are getting some of that money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always the case. So, with the federal
bill. You know, our governor here and all over the state, they got all these plainclothes coming out now, plainclothes vehicles where they don't have nothing but the lights inside the vehicles with dark tinted windows, no writing on the side. So Gavin Newsom got money. He wants to get some of that money put aside for all these new vehicles. So state troopers, highway patrols, just like they came.
I mean, yeah, the militarization of our police and ramping and amping up of police is part of the Project 2025 new Republican Confederate agenda. But I think California is dealing with a very serious budget crisis. It's not just LA, it's the whole state. So I don't know how much extra stuff Newsom is going to be doing. He's already had to cut back on a couple of his pet projects.
Yeah, well, you know, maybe the mayor might end up with a few of those dollars and end up having plainclothes vehicles out there.
I don't think so. The governor just told the mayor in no uncertain terms, we are not going to help you, which is crazy to me because LA bails out the rest of the state all day, every year, every decade. But Newsom's like, nah, we don't have your back right now. We don't have money for that. So unless it's fire related. But how is anything not fire related at this point? If we're blowing out our general fund to cover fire costs, then we need help to cover what we spent that was supposed to be for the general fund that we had to pay out for fire costs. So that's just a dumb thing for the governor to say.
Yeah, well, maybe if they hired some black firefighters. I mean, every time I go by a fire truck down the street, all I see is white guys, racist-looking, blue-eyed white guys. And I'm not calling them names or picking on them. Hey, Dominique, are you going to be here during Juneteenth? I mean, are we going to have to watch our back Juneteenth? Because there's a lot going on out here. What we got any surprises coming that anybody know about on Juneteenth?
Well, definitionally, if it's a surprise, we're not supposed to know about it, Carl. But if you're talking about Juneteenth in Lamert Park, Africatown, number one, yes, I will be here. And number two, those fools ain't coming over here. If you're talking about Proud Boys and all those jokers, they ain't coming over here. That would be another FAFO moment.
Always be strapped. Thanks for giving me time, Dominique. Bye.
Is Carl on one this morning, Ma? Did he just call me and say, always stay strapped?
Stay dangerous.
Stay dangerous.
You say stay safe. You say stay dangerous. I get you, Carl.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I get him too, but it's 6:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
And look, Dominique, it's a crazy word.
First call of the day. Stay strapped.
And you know what's going on here. Like, it's seriously. It's really
it's
that
real.
time.
It's really real. To be honest with you, that's not paranoia. I've always felt that I've always believed in self-defense. I am from the Ida B. Wells School of Journalism. I am a defender of the Second Amendment. I just don't expect to hear that at the first call of the day. Really? Okay, well, Carl called 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. And apparently my stay encouraged, blah, 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 whatever I said went in one ear and out the other, because he's like, is the governor having cops following us in unmarked cars? And stay strapped. I believe Juneteenth in our community is very safe. I believe it will remain safe. I also am among those who think we keep us safe with community, with fellowship, with paying attention, with self-defense, and looking out for one another. That's what I think. What do you think? 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and this right here is KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Can your pad absorb everything and stay fresh? Always Radiant with Flex Foam can. Get up to 0 leaks, 0 odor, and 0 feel. Because Flex Foam is the only pad with a flexible foam core. You heard me, foam. Always Radiant is so thin, it feels like nothing, yet protects like nothing else. Can your pad do that? For up to 100% leak-free protection, try Always Radiant to see what Flex Foam can do for you.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
1455 Frazee, San Diego. CordellCordell.com.
Trust & Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust & Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust & Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust & Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station. And your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Yeah, so 800-920-1580 is the number to call while we unpack what's going on in our city, state, coast, and inside our brains. And I do think, it makes sense that folks are feeling a little defensive. Jerry Anderson said implied immunity comes with emboldened hatred. I pray for all Juneteenth celebrations around the country. And given the climate of hate, the fact that white supremacists, racists, haters, homophobes, and all of their ilk are feeling rather jiggy right now, it's logical, right? It's logical. That coupled with the mental health crisis, which is clearly a problem right now, not only with the unhoused, but with the Congress. Look at how people are acting. It's like our whole country needs therapy. I know the whole world needs it, but I'm talking about like 911, like trauma patrol therapy right now, whatever that is that's going on. So yeah, it makes sense. But I just don't want us to fall into the trap of fear, because that doesn't ever help. It never, ever ends well. That's how I see it. It never, ever ends well. Let's go to Fred calling us from the Crenshaw District. Good morning, Fred.
Good morning, Sister Dominique. How you doing? You had a nice Mother's Day a couple weeks ago?
I did. You know what, Fred? People have been asking about you. You okay? You healthy? All is well?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I've been trying to reach you, and I've been talking to your boss, and he said that you've been tied with a guest. So I said, I'll just keep calling. I'll just keep on keeping on. Oh, I'm fine. I'm looking good. I'm fine. And
you're looking good, Fred.
There, you're great. And I was going to ask you, does anybody have any information on the funeral service of Nate Holden?
Now there's a good question. I'm sure we can get it.
Well, I talked to I called the Sentinel, and they said they haven't heard anything. A friend of mine who is the deputy to the Hut said he thinks it may be a private ceremony. I said the man is well known from the Crenshaw days. I started following politics when he came on the scene, and it would seem to me that they should have that funeral either at First AME, it's a big church, it'll hold a lot of people, or West Angeles over here on Crenshaw and Exposition. If I find out something, I'll let the front page know. My point I wanted to talk about is,
I'm sorry. That's a really, really good point, but I guess, that would absolutely be up to his family. I have not heard anything either, and I'm not seeing anything here. The only thing I see is obituaries, and then I see a page, an obituary page where you can leave a comment or send flowers. This is on legacy.com. That's the only thing I'm finding.
That you say, and the thing on the political scene, now that Donald Trump is crazy, man, I think what the Democrats really need to do, matter of fact, this on MSNBC News yesterday, they're trying to think about the future of the party. Why not get people lined up now to run for 2028? Because the way I see it, if they don't have any strong candidates, we could possibly see J.D. Vance as president and Marco Rubio as vice president.
Oh,
I don't want to see.
Why do you want to make me throw up first thing in the morning, Fred? That is not nice.
Oh, all right. Well, I was just kind of looking around. But anyway, I'm going to say, right? All right, well, keep doing what you're doing. You're a great host. But if I should hear something about the funeral, Nate Holden, I'll get it over to the front page. I'm going to do some watering. It's supposed to be hot today, so have a nice weekend, and you have a blessed Memorial Day this Monday.
Thank you. And you as well, Fred. Yeah, we need that 3-day weekend. Was that part of a competition for the worst possible presidential ticket? Vance Rubio? Ugh. Vance Rubio? That might even be worse than Donnie Jr. Vance. Or Ivanka Vance, the V ticket. Ivanka Vance, that which is rumored to be the thing, that it would either be Ivanka Trump or Don Jr. and Vance. Because Vance could be VP with one of those two jokers and still be young enough to run after 4 or 8 years on his own. But of course, all of that is blown out of the water if the president does what he keeps saying he's going to do, which is run for a third term. And I don't know why we haven't learned to believe him when he tells us stuff, because he tells us what he's going to do, or when he tells us he's not going to do it after being accused of doing it, i.e. Project 2025. When will we learn that this man is serious about things that sound crazy? Oh, man. Yeah. 800-920-1580. So I feel like what we're seeing as far as this budget, I do think it's going to pass out of the Senate, even though they will probably have another showdown. But it's incredible what the president is able to do with his party, these so-called hardliner Republican conservatives who just kowtow to him when he puts the pressure on. And by the way, I don't care if it's Ivanka, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, the whole clown car of those jokers. They will not have the influence that this guy has, which is why it would be good if he retired or something else. Or, took up, I don't know, bowling in Norway or something. Like being nice. Was not being a president. Because he has that ability to get folks to kowtow for him. And you just got to wonder, what is he saying? Now, we'll talk about it next hour with Pastor Q, but that scene in the White House with South African president was so terrible. It was like a satire of America. Yeah, so terrible. But what I was saying is that budget, that federal budget, is going to disproportionately impact California. We have more people. Therefore, we got more seniors. We have more seniors anyway because lots of seniors want to live here because it's warm and temperate like Florida. And we have more immigrants, migrants, refugees, because not only are we a border state, but we have policies that are hospitable. So, get ready. I mean, and what does that mean? I think it means more than ever, cash is king. I think it means for us as Californians, I'm not to not be on doom and gloom means to be prepared. What does being prepared look like? It looks like if you can save money, save it. It looks like this would not be the time to buy something that you don't need, something big and extravagant. It would be a good time to circle your wagons unless it's something that you feel unless it's something essential that you know is going to go up in price because of the tariffs, right? Which is a lot of things. I mean, certainly cars. But this is not the time to load up on more debt. And it is the time to make sure that you get your ducks in a row in terms of paperwork if you're a small business, especially if you're a nonprofit, because the Trump administration has indicated that they are going after nonprofits And Trump, our mini-me Trump here, our district attorney, Nathan Hochman, will likely follow suit and do the same. So that means dot the I's and cross the T's. It's not about being scared. It's about being prepared. News, traffic, and sports, then more of your phone calls on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Kermit the Frog will speak at the University of Maryland's commencement tonight, his first in nearly 30 years. Kermit spoke with NBC News about what advice he'll give to graduates.
Taking the leap into opportunity and making connections in our world today, I mean, those are just a few of the things that I have learned in my own journey to follow in my dreams. I kind of hope these graduates keep that sophisticated childlike sense of curiosity and imagination and innovation as they travel down their paths.
Kermit's speech will honor Muppets creator Jim Henson, a proud Maryland alum. Israel is tightening security at its embassies around the world after a deadly shooting in Washington, D.C. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announces increased protection for Israeli diplomatic sites. And 2 blockbusters hit theaters this Memorial Day weekend. Disney's Lilo & Stitch reboot could top $160 million, while Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is set to open with up to $85 million. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Once upon a time, the Clippers had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on their roster. He played in all 82 games for the Clippers as a rookie in the 2018-19 season. 6 years later, Gilgeous-Alexander was voted the NBA's most valuable player. The Oklahoma City guard led the NBA in scoring this season with a 32.7 average and was a major reason OKC had the NBA's best record at 68-14. Forgive me for bringing up a bad memory. In 2019, the Clippers traded Gilgeous-Alexander and 7 first-round picks to OKC for Paul George, who's now in Philadelphia. OKC and Minnesota play Game 2 tonight in the Western Conference Finals. OKC is up 1-0. In the East, Indiana broke down New York with a 138-135 win in overtime in Game 1. The Knicks had an 8-point lead with 41 seconds left in the fourth quarter. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions. This is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading husher. Shh, hush up back there. Wow, I might have just set the hushing record. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, yo, come on. Come the
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
PCH opens this weekend again, so that should be crazy because it's going to be really, really hot. Heat wave. I guess it's cooling down a little toward the end of the week. Today is supposed to be, yesterday and today were supposed to be the hottest days. Still going to be beach weather, which means folks are heading out that way west. That's what happens. If you're not from LA, that's how we do. When it's sunny and hot, folks go to the beach. And when it's not, they stay off the road. So it's going to be crowded. And it's going to be, I don't know what that means. It's an 11-mile part of the Pacific Coast Highway, which has been closed since the fires. And that means they're opening it. It's, okay, I'm not a civil engineer nor a city leader, but seems a little iffy opening it on Memorial Day weekend, but okay. And the, we're going to see how that goes. You know, it's interesting to me. I as usual, I subscribe to the LA Times because I feel like it's my job to know what's going on in the city, and I do my best to pay attention. But let me tell you, it doesn't matter what happens. They will find a way to go after this mayor. The billionaire owner of that paper, another South African-born billionaire, will go after the mayor, and it is not even subtle. If you start paying attention, this is one of those follow the money cases. He's homies with Elon Musk, and he was the one who recently decided, no, we're not going to endorse Kamala, and you see how they've been beating up on our mayor ever since the fires, even though we are ahead of schedule in terms of bouncing back from the fires. Every headline, they'll come up with some. I think over the weekend they had some headline about everyone in the Pacific Palisades wants to know what's the plan. Oh, you talk to everyone in the Pacific Palisades and they don't know what the plan is, even though the Pacific Palisades recovery is ahead of schedule, even though it's much more orderly and organized than what's happened in Altadena. Technically, the LA Times covers LA County, which means they should be on the Pasadena, Altadena leadership. They should be on the supervisor for that area, which is Catherine Barger. They should be on her. But no, they want to talk about the mayor. The mayor is not the mayor of Malibu. So, and, you know, I get it. That PCH goes all along the coast. So it does pass through parts of Los Angeles, i.e. the Palisades. But I believe this particular weekend would be problematic to reopen anyway, just because it's going to be sunny and it's going to be crowded. However, maybe that's a plus, because all you do on PCH on weekends like this one is sit there. Like you're mostly going to be sitting in traffic unless you go at 4 o'clock in the morning. But nothing happens in the world without the LA Times blaming the mayor. And I know they're trying to keep the momentum going, because now that we're past the initial shock and hysteria of the immediate aftermath of the fire, the Palisades fire, if you go back and look at the actual problems that we had, the real beef with the mayor is that she was in Africa. She said she regretted that. I don't agree with that. She was on the phone with people. She was on satellite, but of course you'd rather be in your city than not be in your city. But when it comes to her actual actions, they really don't have a lot to complain about. The sober off, the so-called fire disaster, whatever his title was, he was supposed to be an extra helper to get the Palisades together. That was a problem because of his salary and then him going out there and complaining. But when you look at actual response to the fire, getting the resources there, setting up hubs for people to process their paperwork, coordinating with the federal government to make sure the resources are quickly and effectively mobilized. All of those things she did brilliantly and is doing brilliantly, as you would expect from someone who has experience on the state, local, and federal level of government, who knows how the levers of power work, who's led the state government, who has been a congresswoman working with Republicans in both cases with Republican leadership. And even though the president tried to disrespect her and Elon Musk wrote some horrible things on his little cesspool of an app, if you look at the actual facts and what are we angry about, if you break it down beyond emotion and get to actual deliverables, the mayor has done a stellar job. Now, I get that folks are going to be emotional. It was an emotional time, and it is still an emotional time if you're a person who lost everything. I am not denying nor downplaying that. But I think in the post-freak-out mode, we say, okay, there were problems with the fire hydrants. Well, apparently that's a problem that has to do with a number of things. The pipes need to be redone. The fact that we just don't have the pressure, even in the best of situations, to handle a fire of that magnitude, especially when private individuals like Rick Caruso are wielding their own mercenary forces to save their assets and pulling water out of the system. Why was the reservoir under maintenance? Why was the local reservoir empty? That's a DWP issue. It's a problem. Yeah, the mayor, I think the mayor is on the DWP board, but she's not the commander of it. And you're talking about problems that with hydrants and water management that go back decades when you're talking about our water infrastructure, our pipes and such here in LA. Those are expensive, long-term problems that need fixing. In any case, go at your own risk. The wall will be the free will be open. The PCH. 100,000 pounds of illegal fireworks seized in Commerce yesterday. I guess they're getting ready for July 4th. I say it like that because I'm thinking about the LAPD blowing up that truck with the fireworks, and they're supposedly explosive-proof truck and basically obliterating an entire neighborhood and a whole bunch of cars, and that still hasn't bounced back. But this one was actually the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the ATF, and explosives. They're the ones that raided this warehouse in Commerce, and they brought a long line of trucks to take it out and didn't try to blow it up at the scene. ABC7 says that California has lost. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about the neighborhood that exploded and not because it's funny, but they're saying that California has lost more than $4 million in property from fireworks since January alone, according to CAL FIRE. And I'm laughing because I wonder how much that one neighborhood that the LAPD blew up, how many millions was that? I don't know, but I would venture to guess it's more than 4 million. It's a really serious problem. I like to watch fireworks too, but given what we just went through in Palisades, what we're still going through in Palisades and in Altadena, I don't know. Just read the room. Is this the time for that? I think not. 800-920-1580 if you want to hear more. The other thing about Palisades, it's really you're talking about a highway, PCH. So we should be looking for some leadership from Mr. I Wish I Was President, aka our governor as well. He was the one that made the announcement that the highway PCH was reopening. So, what does the LA Times do? Blame the mayor. Reminds me of Paul Mooney, 1-800-BLAME-A-N-word. 800-920-1580. I don't know if y'all remember that, but that's what his theory was. No matter what happens, if you're a criminal who's not black, all you have to do is call 1-800-BLAME-A-N-word. And we have a scapegoat available for you. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom? She started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, so when I was talking about how that big big so-called beautiful budget bill that the Republicans passed like thieves in the night. I think it was like 4 a.m. They finally passed it out of the House by one measly vote. Doggone it. Anyway, I was talking about how brace yourself, California, because these things do hurt us. And I'm not suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. I try to give the man credit whenever it's due. It's just not due that much. In any case, I think the LA Times is suffering from bass derangement syndrome. No, a mouse is in their pantry and they're going to blame the mayor. It doesn't matter what, it's blame the mayor. And part of the reason for our budget problem here in Los Angeles, aside from the LAPD killing and brutalizing people and then internally harassing their own employees, which adds up to literally hundreds of millions of dollars. Literally hundreds of millions of dollars coming out of that budget. Okay, the main budget. There's also the actions of the president, which take a real toll. Okay, and we can say COVID, we're still bouncing back. We know, that put holes in various programs that are still being filled. But think about this. The president, and his cronies, because if those jokers hadn't passed that budget last night, in the middle of the night, dirty deeds done in the dark, he couldn't do it by himself, is what I'm saying. Yeah, Trump is the president. He's not an emperor yet, but they treat him like one. In any case, he's the one that launches a trade war. Who does a trade war affect more than anybody? Probably California. San Pedro, our port, is one of the big economic drivers of this whole region. We make money bringing stuff into the country. The Port of Los Angeles is a whole economy unto itself. Well, what happens when you slap these giant 145% tariffs, even 10% tariffs, or whatever it's down to now, right? It means we get less money coming into the area. It means we, Los Angeles, the greater Los Angeles area, gets significantly less money. That's 1-800-BLAME-TRUMP. And I'm not making that up because that's how business works. Folks either don't import stuff, and especially when you got a guy that keeps changing his mind, and who's erratic in his behavior, right? So if I'm a big company and I want to import 300 pounds of little key rings, or 3,000 pounds or whatever, key rings into the country, some little tchotchke that I'm going to use as a promotion or marketing thing, And now they're 140% more expensive or 10% more expensive. I might just decide to wait and see if this guy changes his mind again and again to the point where it comes down in price. I'm going to hold off, or I may decide it's not worth the cost. Now I'm not going to import that. Now there's less revenue for us. And that, guess what it does? It hits the budget. We were talking before about how Canadians don't want to come to Palm Springs no more. Canadians are some of our biggest tourists to Palm Springs. It's a thing. It's a thing to the point where there's Canada signs all around Palm Springs. Well, guess who's not coming to Palm Springs this summer, or this, I should say winter, because the Canadians, I think, are usually fleeing their own winter weather. Canada. They're like, forget the U.S. They're trying to take over our country. They're disrespecting us. We're boycotting their products. So that hurts our tourism, as do measures to deport people and disrespect other countries. It makes us seem inhospitable and erratic. And guess what that does? It makes people not want to come here. And guess what that does? It tanks our revenue. So when you look at that budget deficit, yeah, we have some problems. We definitely have some problems. We have a problem overpaying the LAPD, designating too much of our budget to law enforcement. Their problematic liability issues, both internally and externally. The deals that were made to give everybody a raise in these union, city union jobs, yes. They're causing a strain on the budget too. Could we have known that our revenues would turn down this aggressively? Probably not. And giving people raises is important because folks got to be able to live in the city where they work. However, that's a problem. And it makes sense to me. It's logical that those unions are saying, you know what, we are willing to give up concessions, but only if LAPD does. And the LAPD won't. So we're stuck with that budget. I think we have to look at the big picture, though. It's not just LA that has a deficit. It's California. And by the way, that big bootyful bill is increasing our deficit as a nation by more than $2 trillion over the next 10 years. That's serious business. Going to Randy from Watts. Hi, Randy.
Hey, you definitely make us think. I tell you, between the two of us, we'd be dangerous. But one of the things I say, that 145, we was making a ton of money off of the freight that's on the docks. A lot of it can't move because the guys haven't cleared customs because they have to divvy up that money. But I'm noticing our load board on export flatbeds headed this way and equipment leaving out of California going out is increased by about 10 to 15%. And the longshoremen, my cousin is telling me they got 1,100 to 1,200 jobs every day, and we still have half the ports down there. If this thing works, they got to hire more people, and those jobs, pay a lot of money. So let's keep us abreast. But this is going to be a very interesting time in California.
Explain what you mean by what you're talking about trucks going out. What do you mean by that?
Well, you got to realize, for us to export, say a tractor or cars, okay, they had a 45 or 80% tariff if you wanted to send a Corvette or something out of the United States.
Right.
And that for that reason, those countries wasn't sending them. Now that's down to where it's more economical for us to send the car because the people on the other end has less money for them to buy the car, so we can send more cars. We can send more tractors. We can send more trucks. We can send more manufactured equipment over there. And that right there, I'm looking at load boards on step decks picking up that are going to be going into the port of Los Angeles. We can see that those of us that are running load boards. A load board is a dispatch board that independent shippers use for truckers to move loads all across the United States, Canada, and Mexico.
Got it.
And I see an increase on that.
Interesting.
So, yeah, unless you and I watch this, I mean, what you're saying is absolutely true.
We're going to lose. I mean, we lose. This California loses on this. But, you know, I mean, we will prevail some kind of way. We always do. Here's the thing. It's going to shift the whole pattern of everything in the world. I mean, where, like you said, there are some American products being built overseas that now will have trouble coming in. So what does that do to the economy? So many unintended consequences. We got news, traffic, and sports right now. Then looking forward to having Pastor Q in the studio. I know he's got a thing or two to say about a thing or two. And you're welcome to join. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Kermit the Frog will speak at the University of Maryland's commencement tonight, his first in nearly 30 years. Kermit spoke with